So today we'll be creating a ping pong game that can be played by two people. We have a left paddle that moves and the right paddle as well. So if, for example, we let the ball pass, the score for the right paddle will be updated, and the same thing for the left paddle. So here is our game. If anyone is interested by the code, here it is. And let's get started. Let's get started. First, we need to import pygame. And we need to import sys as well. Sys comes built-in with Python, but pygame needs to be installed via pip install pygame. Now, what we're gonna do is to initialize pygame, and let's specify a width and a height of our game. Let's say, for example, 800 pixel by 600. Let's create the screen, which is pygame dot display dot set mode, and it takes a tuple, uh, which is the width and the height of the screen. Now, let's add a small caption by game, which is the title of the game, by game dot display dot set caption info. Now we initialize our main loop via clock equal by game dot time dot clock. We create a while loop, and what we're gonna do here is to first uh, reinitialize the display. So via pygame dot display dot flip. This is to initialize the display. So anything we write here, it will be added to our game. And let's specify the FPS clock dot tick. Let's specify the FPS to be 60 frames per second. One thing that is also important is each time to refill the screen with black so that anything that was before in the screen will be removed. So pygame dot fill via black color. And of course, that black is not defined, so we need to define it. The black is an RGB of 0, 0, 0. Let's define the white as we might use it later. The white is 255, 255, and 255. One thing that is also important is to be able to quit the game if you want. So we need to check for the event of quitting, and we need to quit if that event is the one selected. So and we check that at the beginning of the while loop. So for event in pygame dot event dot get, and if the type of the event is pygame dot quit, we quit simply pygame dot quit, and we exit using sys dot exit. Yeah, this one is lowercase. And here we need to add another, yeah, something like that. Here we have a small mistake. It's not pygame.fill, but screen.fill. Everything is good. And you can, it's exit, not exist. Okay. Now let's draw the paddles. So we're gonna create a left paddle and a right paddle. Both of them will be a dictionary. So the left paddle gonna contain its X position, its Y position, its width, and its height. So as it is on the left, it will start at 10 pixels. As it will be centered, so it is um, height divided by 2, and we subtract 50% of the height of the left paddle. It will be 100, so we subtract, so we subtract 50, and the height is 100. The width of the left paddle is 10. Let's copy this to add the right paddle as well. And the right paddle will be displayed on the right. So it is width, let's say minus 10 for the moment, and we will see if that satisfies or not. The height is the same height, as both will be centered if we are looking at the height, and they will have the same width and the same height. And here we can add them just before we update our display. So we add them via pygame.draw. They are rectangle-like objects, so we use rect, and they will be added to our screen with a color of white. And here we specify the it's a tuple that should contain 4 objects. So the first one is the width, the X position, the second one is the Y position, the third one is the width, and the fourth is the height. So it is left paddle dot X first, and we copy this 4 times. So the second one is Y, the third one is width, fifth one is height. We add one more, but this time is for the right paddle. So it's right paddle, like this. Oops. And I don't like the position of the right paddle, so let's remove some extra pixels from the X position. So let's say X equal with minus 20 this time. Oops. Now everything is good. Now what we are going to do is to be able to move the 2 paddles. So right here, if we do it again, we have the right paddle. For me, I will choose to move it via the key up arrow and the key down arrow for the right paddle. For the left paddle, if your keyboard is QWERTY, you can move it via W and S. For me, it's AZERTY, so I will choose Z to move it up and S to move it down. Started. So here, keys, we'll try to look which key was pressed each time. So keys equal pygame dot key dot get pressed. And if the keys of is pygame dot key up, this is the up arrow. So we are first interested at the right paddle. If the key is pygame.up and the right paddle hasn't yet left the screen, you can still move it, and right paddle of Y positive, we will move the right paddle up. So right paddle dot Y minus equal 5. So we'll subtract 5 from that. And it works. You know why we selected 5 even though we want to move it up? because everything is relative. Here, the 0 of y is on the up, so we subtract to move to its direction. The same thing, but move down. So if the keys of pygame is key down this time, and we check if the paddle hasn't left the screen yet from the down position. So if right paddle of y is inferior to the height minus its height, we this time we move up by 5. So if we are at this position, if the position of the right paddle is inferior to the height, all of this is the height minus the height of the paddle, we can no longer move down. So it works for the first one. All what we need to do is to duplicate this for the second right paddle. Let's do that. So we copy this. First things first, we right here left, 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 and left. Okay, the other thing that we need to move to modify is the keys. Here I'm gonna use Z for up and S for down. Okay, first one works. I'm using up and down keys, and for the second one I'm using Z and S keys. So everything works. Now what we are going to do is to create our ball. So here, create a ball that is a copy of this, but it should be centered at t equals 0 at the center of the screen. So its x position is width divided by 2, and its y position is also height divided by 2. Let's add to it dx and dy, which is the speed of the movement of the ball via the x-axis and y-axis. So dx equal 4 and dy equal 4. Of course, if dx and dy are very we said, for example, 40, and the game will be more difficult than for dx equal 4. It's a ball, so it's a sphere-like. Yeah, it's a circle-like, so we're gonna give it a radius of of 10. Okay, we need to add the ball. So it's a circle. It's a circle-like. So we go pygame dot draw, but dot circle. We draw it at the screen with the color that is white. Then we specify its position. So the first thing is ball of x. The second thing is ball of y. The third one is ball of radius. Now, even though x and y we specified them to be integer, just to be safe, we'll add int here for x and int here for y to basically get the integer part of x and y. And we have made some mistake. Yeah, I see it. It's pygame, not pygame. And this works. Now what we need to do is to be able to move the ball. Let's do that. So always at first, let's move the ball of x equal ball x plus ball dx, or plus equal ball dx. So each time the x position of the ball will be changed, and the y position as well will be changed. This way. So the first thing we need to do is, as you saw, when the ball leaves the screen from the y-axis, it never comes back. So we need to change that. We can do that here. So if the position of if the ball of y minus ball of radius negative, this means if the ball has left the y-axis from one position, or simply if ball of y plus ball of radius is higher than the height. So if it has left the screen from one position or another, simply we we change the direction of the dy. So if it was positive, it will become negative, so that the ball will bounce back, and vice versa. Ball dy equal ball dy multiplied by -1. We have made a mistake here. Let's read it. C, and it bounces back. That's good. Now we are going to check the ball collision with the paddles using this code. Let's remove it first, see what I'm talking about. So basically, in order to be able to bounce back the ball, we need to see if the ball is within somehow the left paddle or the right paddle. How can we do that? We are talking about the ball position. Copy back the code. So if the ball of x minus its radius is within the left paddle, so if it is superior of the left paddle of x and inferior to the left paddle of x position plus its width, and if the left paddle of y, or if the ball of y is also within the left paddle, that is for the left paddle. And we do the same thing exactly for the right paddle. If that's the case, the dx will be multiplied by -1, meaning we will be able to bounce back the ball, as you see here. Perfect. One problem that is simply we don't know who's winning. So let's change that. Let's create some scores. So our left score is 0 and our right score is 0. The game starts at 0, 0. Let's create a font for the scores, and font equal pygame dot font dot class font, and let's specify let's fix the font name to none and the size to 47. So that's good. Now let's draw the scores. So here, just before updating the display using pygame.display.flip, we draw the scores. So we draw the left text and the right text. So the left text is font.render string of left score. And here basically we are trying to convert our score to a text that can be added to our pygame or to our screen. So until alias is equal to true, and the color is white. we do the same thing for the right text exactly. Zero right score. And now we add them to the screen via screen.blit. So screen.blit will take a text, we'll add it to the screen, and we take or we specify the x position and the y position. So the y position is 20 and the x position is width divided by 4. This is the left, and the same thing for the right. Using screen.blit, it takes the right text. The position is 3/4 of the width for the x position, and for the right position is 20. Now we execute. Problem here, it's always 0, so it doesn't update. Let's change that. But that something that is annoying, that is when the game is out of bounds for x, it doesn't go back to the middle and goes again. Change that very quickly. So, or we can do them both actually. And it is this way. So first, if the ball of x is negative, this means if the ball of x has left from the left paddle part, the right score is will be we will be adding 1 to the right score, and the ball of x and y will be centered again because it has left the screen, and also it will go back with reverse directions for fairness. We can do the same thing exactly for the other part. So if ball of x is superior to the width, this means that the ball has left the screen from the right position. We'll add 1 to the left score. We'll center again the ball, and the ball of the x will be minus ball dx. This is for fairness again. So this works. Let's, as you can see, the game works as expected. Thank you.